1795, the people of Fairfield started to talk about building schoolhouses.
In 1795, people in Fairfield sold the land to build a school.
Life was different in a one-room schoolhouse. The Egypt schoolhouse had Bakersfield and Fairfield students both attending.
Ding dong goes the old bell saying school is over. Kids run out like rushing wind coming out of the little schoolhouse.
The older kids got to ring the bell. The older kids had most of the jobs. If the teacher was sick, the older students could teach the younger kids. Some kids rode in a car while other kids walked. The schoolhouses were mostly white and made out of wood. Only two had two levels.
The kids started school in first grade. Now kids start school in preschool. They did not have kindergarten or preschool.
They had no fans because they didn't invent it yet.
They had no fans, so they did not have electricity. It must have felt hot, sweaty, and sticky.
For heat, they had a wood stove. The older kids were in charge of the wood. They would get the wood and go to school earlier to start the fire.
There was no hot lunch, so they had to bring cold lunch.
There was no kitchen in the schoolhouse, so they brought their own lunch or went home and came back after.
They had no playground at school. If it was nice outside, they would play baseball. If it was the right temperature out in the winter, they would sled.
They were lucky because they got to play tag instead and got to sled in the winter and sometimes got to take walks outside.
There were no arts and crafts like we do now. We paint and we do special gifts. This is Mr. Moy. He was the person who went to the one-room schoolhouse, which is called the East Fairfield Schoolhouse.
The East Fairfield Schoolhouse has 2 levels and was one of the biggest schools.
The East Fairfield School opened in 1953.
All that's left is the foundation.
This was where the Chester Arthur School house was. It got torn down and it is now a house.
Most of the schoolhouses were torn into homes where people lived. Lots of them didn't last and got torn down.
In the nice open fields of Pumpkin Village Road sat an old schoolhouse, and there's only one room. And in that one room, there is a fireplace, a chalkboard, and benches for 2 people. The benches are their chairs.
There wasn't a lot of room in a one-room schoolhouse. Students from 1st through 8th grade all attended a one-room schoolhouse. For time out, they had to stand in a corner and got detention. Then they were sent home for bad behavior. Now at Fairfield Center School, kids have to sit in a corner.
They did not have a class pet because they didn't have any money to buy a class pet, but they had animals on farm to take care of.
There was no concert because there was no music teacher to arrange it. They didn't have gym, art, or library.
The students who attended to the schools were usually from a large family, so lots of people had the same last names.
In the center of Fairfield, in a field, the common school lay. They had their own basketball court. It was a 2-room schoolhouse. The common school was the town building.
The common school is still used today. It has our art class and music class in it.
Students had to go to the bathroom in an outhouse, no matter what the weather was like. Now there is one big schoolhouse. The students are in preschool through 8th grade. We are lucky that we have a great school. We are in all day.
Thank you, Sarah Cattell, for teaching us about the Common School. Thank you for sharing your stories and pictures of the Common School. You taught us a lot of neat facts.
Thank you, Mary Scheindorfer, for coming in and teaching us about your school. Our class really appreciated you coming in. You gave us lots of great facts and information. Thank you for bringing in some cool things to show us what the schools had.